Hey guys, Miss Timpson here, and I just want to record a quick video for you guys on different fronts and when they occur and what those different fronts look like on a weather map. So, what happens when two air masses meet? This is just a funny picture. I'm a warm air. I'm cold air. So, a cold front, when a cold air mass moves under a warm air mass, it is shown in this picture. So, this little sign right here that my mouse is on, okay, this is what they use on a weather map to indicate that a cold front is coming in, a mass of cold air. Okay, and so what happens is you have this cold air moving in, wind is blowing this cold air in, and it is pushing this warm air up. Okay, so you can see that happening. This is coming in, it's pushing this warm air that was in the way up. You can kind of zoom in just a little on that. I'm going to go back in just a second. So look at the temperatures, 25 degrees, 42 degrees, 39 degrees, 50 degrees, 55 degrees. So it's actually pushing this in and it's gradually cooling that area. Okay, this is just a video.
A cold front occurs when cold air replaces warm air. As a cold front advances, the heavier, cooler air pushes against lighter, warmer air, causing it to rise and cool. The air is moist enough, clouds and storms can form.
So warm fronts are the exact opposite. When a warm front or when a warm air mass moves over a cold air mass that is leaving the area, you can kind of see what's going on. So the warm air is coming up and moving over and kind of taking over that area of the cold air. It's pushing that cold air out, and then all of this is sliding in, moving the cold air out of the way. They talk a little bit about the types of clouds that might be present, nimbostratus, altostratus. We study stratus clouds, cumulus, cirrus, and cumulonimbus clouds. Altostratus and nimbostratus are just a little more in depth. So here's another little video.
When a mass of warm air runs into a mass of cold air, it's forced to climb over the denser, heavier air mass. As the warm air rises, it cools and the moisture it's holding condenses, forming clouds, rain, and snow.
So an occluded front is when a warm air mass is stuck between two cold air masses. So you have cool air, and you got a warm air mass that is stuck. Okay, and this typically brings bad weather. Cold air mass, warm air mass. Okay, and it's just stuck. You can see that this is the little symbol that we use for an occluded front. And so it almost looks like it has a combination of the cold air triangles and the warm air little loops here. But then it's a different color. It's not blue and red. It has its own color for the whole thing. And since both the triangles and the little loops are on the same side, that means that this is moving this direction. Whichever side the triangles and the loops are on is the direction that it is moving. So that one will be moving that direction. So you can just kind of see a little more in depth. Cold front is here, cold air is here, cool air is here, and this warm air kind of gets stuck. It's almost like warm front and cold front kind of run into each other, and then things become a little unhappy when they run into each other. So they have a video here that is not available. So stationary front is when a warm air mass and a cold air mass meet, but neither has enough force to move the other. They're in a standoff, so they are very stuck. You can see from the triangles and the little loops, it almost looks like they're both kind of pulling in different directions because the triangles are showing that the cold air is moving this direction, but the warm air loops are moving the other direction. So it's almost like they're kind of stuck. That's just a picture. You have cold air running into the warm air and lots of rain going on. This is a kid's video, so.
Hello, we are going to describe a stationary front. We have a cold front, cold blue Lego cloud, which represents cold air. And we have a red cloud, which represents warm air. So a stationary front is when two fronts collide and they don't move, which often causes clouds and precipitation. over a long period of time.
So oftentimes when you have stationary fronts, you are having isolated thunderstorms, or it's raining all day. It's kind of like it gets stuck. Okay. So anyhow, those are some different kinds of fronts. So cold front, warm front, occluded front, stationary front. Okay. 4 different kinds of fronts. Cold fronts bringing in cold air. When the cold air comes in, it's going to push the warm air up and take over that area. When you have a warm front, the warm front is moving up and over the cold air, slowly pushing that cold air out and taking over. When you have an occluded front, you have warm air and cold air running into each other. The warm air is almost trapped between 2 colder air masses. One might be really cold and one might just be cool. They might have a little bit difference in temperature. However, that warm air mass is stuck. And so that is an included front when they can be moving in the same direction, but it's a mix of the cold front and the warm front, and oftentimes does produce precipitation. Stationary front, you have the cold air mass and the warm air mass, and they run into each other and they get stuck. Neither one of them have enough force to push one out of the way, and so they are stationary. They're stuck, okay? They're not moving. So let us know if you have any questions about cold fronts, warm fronts, stationary fronts, or occluded fronts.